Hey, what's going on, y'all? It is EJ Brad from EJ Brad and Kai, and I'm here with your concierge tip of the week. Hope everybody's feeling good today. I hope you're ready for this one because this one is kind of good. So, I am talking today about hotels and what you may or may not know about them. Everybody has their ideas about hotels and how the experience should be once you get there, so I'm going to break it down for you, everything that you think you might know or think that you may be doing right but might not be doing right, or things just to think about before you actually go to a hotel. These are things that help you better understand the operations and what happens when you go to a hotel. So that way when you go, maybe you're not expecting what you may have been expecting before. So we're going to talk about all those things today, guys. And I do want to say that this is based on my experience being in the hotel industry for over 25 years. And this does not reflect all hotels or, that I'm representing every hotel, because some hotels may do things differently than what I'm talking about. So we are going to get started, all right? If you all are ready, then let's go. So we're going to talk about reservations. Now, reservations, when you're booking your reservation, sometimes you book directly with the hotel. Sometimes you may book through a third party like Expedia or Booking.com. So I just want to give you the difference and, what happens when you book through this. So if you book directly, most of the time you're getting like the best deal for that hotel. Like if you book online, it's usually cheaper than calling the hotel directly. And most of the times when you call a hotel directly, they either send you to Central Reservations, which is the reservation center for all of that brand's, hotels, or if they're have time, they can make the reservation right there for you. Some people like to call the hotel directly because they want to speak to somebody directly and they think they're going to get a better deal if they call the hotel. That's not always the case, you guys, because what the Central Reservations has, that rate that they have, is usually the rate that's at the hotels. And then if we're at the front desk taking that call, there's not a reservation center at the hotel directly, unless you're at a really big hotel. And most of the times, even then, they have their own central reservations office that is not on property. So when you call the hotel on property, you're not really, you're talking to a front desk agent that may have other people checking in, and so all the questions you might have about reservations, honestly, front desk agents really don't have the time they can dedicate to you because they're not specifically a reservations agent. And some hotels do require their front desk agents to make those reservation calls, but they're really kind of hard to do when you're checking in guests as well or answering calls for guests that are currently in-house. So I suggest calling Central Reservations because they can find the best hotel, especially if you don't know where you want to stay. You can call Central Reservations and they can book the hotel for you. And that's another thing I want to bring up, is that people think that they can call one hotel and then you can look up the rates for another hotel. Doesn't work like that, guys. Our systems are not connected that way. Only Central Reservations can connect to like all of the hotels. They have a central computer that can look at every hotel that's available for the dates that you're looking for. You can't call one hotel and say, "Oh, can you look at the reservations or availability for another hotel?" Can't do it that way. Sorry, guys. And one of the reasons for that is that a lot of hotels are like franchise, what they call so they have the like flag name of a Marriott or a Hilton or a Hyatt, but they're actually franchise, which means just like with like McDonald's and fast food places might be franchise, they're owned by somebody and managed by somebody, but they have the brand name. So that's another thing to think about. So that's why the systems are not connected. Now, third-party reservations. When you're booking through a third party, this is what it is. You're getting a deal for booking through the third party. So that means that you're getting a cheaper rate in most cases than what you would get if you were booking directly with the hotel. But booking with third party comes with some downfalls because, they really don't know the whole hotel. They don't know the description of the hotel that much. They only know what they're giving as far as information, as far as like the room types that are available, but they don't know the hotel. Like if you want to know details about what's at the hotel, they only give you basic information. So, you may think you're getting one thing and then you get to the hotel and it's not that. So that's the other one thing about third party reservations I don't like. Also, too, when you pay through a third party, you're actually paying the third party. You're not really paying the hotel, because what happens is you pay the third party and then the third party uses like what they call a virtual card, which is like the corporate card for like Expedia or whatever, and then they pay us. And so it's different because they have to really charge that company for giving a lower rate, if that makes sense. So that's why when you go to a hotel and they say, oh, we don't know what you paid, we really don't know what you paid, through Expedia or Booking.com, because that is a negotiated rate between like our corporate, office or that local office at the hotel and then who at Expedia or Booking.com. So that's something that's negotiated, and then you just pay the third party and then the third party pays us. So that's why we don't know what that rate is. It's usually hidden from us. So just wanted to let you know about that. Now, we're going to talk about check-ins. Like when you're checking in, the procedure for checking in, what you need when you check in. So when you're checking into a hotel, guys, if you've never stayed at a hotel, this is what it is. If you stayed at a hotel, then you should already know. So you're going to check in, they're going to ask for your ID, of course, and you have to have your credit card that you're paying for. Now, the credit card and the ID have to match. You cannot come in there with somebody else's credit card, because there's so many different fraudulent things going on out here in this world. So you must have the ID and credit card or debit card that matches. The other thing is, using a debit card, you know that your money comes out automatically. Everybody uses debit cards in this world, and at hotels it's the same way. The money is automatically taken out. With credit cards, it's usually just an authorization hold on your credit card, or sometimes you'll see it saying charged on your credit card. But with credit cards, it's a lot easier because, say for instance, there's a security deposit. Now, security deposits are like incidental security deposits for incidentals. Incidentals means anything that you're charging at the hotel, whether it's room service or restaurant meals that you want to charge to the room, depending on the hotel, or their market that they have where they sell all their snacks and drinks and you want to charge it to the room, or if you're making long distance calls or things like that. Everybody uses their cell phones, but hotels still do have long distance call charges. So those are things to remember. So usually the security deposit is like $50 a day or $100 a day or $25 a day, depending on the hotel. So if you're using a debit card and you're paying for your room and tax plus the incidentals, the security deposit, once you check out of that room, then that money has to go back to you, right? So that means that you're going to wait about 5 to 7 business days before that money is actually returned back to you. And that's based on your bank. When we check you out of the hotel, that night, they have what they call a night auditor. And that's the person that will close out the system for that day, restart the system for the next day. Make sure all the totals are cleared out. Make sure all the credit cards and debit cards are released, at whatever money that was not used. So your money is released from us that night after midnight. Now, then it's up to your bank. So some people will call the hotel 2 weeks later saying they haven't gotten their money back, their deposit back. It's not because the hotel is holding it. It's because your bank hasn't released it to you yet. And depending on your bank, it takes longer to process that. They will see that we released it, but then it's up to the bank to put it back on your card. So just want to keep in mind that 5 to 7 business days for debit cards. Credit cards are usually 24 to 48 hours, so those usually are pretty quick. But I see a lot of times that people call and they put it on their debit card and it's taking forever to get back to them. But it's because your bank, for some reason, is holding that or just hasn't processed it, I'll say. So those are just things I just wanted to share with you that you may not know. Now we're going to talk about requests. So requests, upgrades, requests to a high floor, low floor, away from the elevator, near elevator, away from the pool, ocean view, like all those requests. Now, they're called requests for a reason. They are simply requests. They are not guaranteed, guys. Just think of a scenario where everybody wants a high floor and you have 90 rooms and then you have 50 check-ins and everybody wants a high floor. Somebody's not going to get a high floor. So you have to think about it like it is a request. So if it's a request, don't come into the hotel saying, oh, I requested a high floor and I want my high floor. Well, it's a request, which means that it's based on availability. All right, so that's what it means. If it's not available, it's simply not available. And we saw your request. Now, what we do on our end at the hotel is that when we have arrivals for the day, we look at all the arrivals and we go through all the requests. And then we start like blocking rooms. What that means is assigning the rooms to different guests before they arrive, especially if they have a request for a crib or request for extra towels or foam pillows because they're allergic to feather pillows. We try to get those rooms ready for you before you arrive. It's a special request. And if it's a request for high floor, low floor, then we look at what we have in the system. But keep in mind, we had checkouts. We have some people that stayed over maybe. They needed another night. Or we have people that have late checkouts that we're going to talk about in a minute, late checkouts. So those things keep other guests, when they arrive, from getting sometimes the request that they wanted. And it's not because we don't want to give you the request. It's simply because it's not available. All right? Especially with upgrades. I do want to talk about that with upgrades. If you're requesting an upgrade for a specific hotel, do your research to see if they even have upgraded rooms. At my experience with some of the hotels that I've worked at, is that they'll ask for an upgrade, and I'm thinking, an upgrade to what? We're all suites. So you're getting the same suites. It's not like we have a presidential suite at a hotel that's like limited services. We're not a big hotel, so we're not like 1,000 rooms where they have like a upgraded floor or something like that. And then if for hotels that have an upgraded floor, say they have like a high graded floor or upgraded floor, there's only a certain amount of suites on that room, on that floor. So if you have 20 people requesting an upgrade, then somebody's not going to get an upgrade. That's just simple. And then giving you an upgrade means that we're not getting the actual revenue for that suite. So say if a suite is $400 a night and you're paying $120 a night, and then you want to upgrade to that suite, we can do it sometimes for certain people, but we actually lose out revenue because we're not selling that suite for its value. But we do want to honor and help people sometimes when they want to upgrade and you're having special occasions. I know I've been certain hotels and, I'm celebrating birthdays and want to upgrade. And sometimes I just can't get that upgrade. But the reason why, guys, is that sometimes it's not available, or they just don't offer it because they can sell that suite for $400 and not upgrade you for $100. And sometimes they do offer upgraded rates. So you can say you want to upgrade and they say, well, the upgrade is going to be an extra $80. So think about it. Even if it is an extra $80, that's still a deal because that suite normally would be $300 or $400. And if you're paying $120 and they add 80 to it, so you're paying $200. So just think of it on that aspect. And this video is designed just to have you think a little bit about the reason why things are the way they are, and the reason why it's called requests. All right, so now we're going to talk about those frequent guest programs that a lot of the major hotels have. You have Marriott Bonvoy, you have Hyatt Passport, you have Hilton Honors. So those programs are designed to help people who are frequent guests who travel a lot. They travel maybe 20 to 50, 60 nights a year, sometimes more than that. And there's different levels that they get upgraded to based on the number of nights they have stayed at different hotels. And with that, you get perks. You can gain a lot of points so that you can get upgrades, complimentary upgrades. You can request a late checkout, and they're supposed to honor it, just depending on the level that you're on. And also you can get early check-ins, and they're supposed to be like guaranteed. But I do want to say this. I know that these frequent guest programs are designed for that, but we have to think about reality sometimes. And if you're a diamond member or a platinum member, the highest level of this frequent guest program, and you say, I want an upgrade, I'm a platinum member, I deserve an upgrade. Well, sometimes you have to just think realistically that it may not be available. It's not that I don't want to give you that upgrade. You earned it. You've traveled so much. You've earned some extra perks. It's not that we don't want to give it to you. It's that sometimes it's just not available. So don't come into the hotel and then we say, I'm sorry, it's not available. And then you become a Karen or a Darren. That's not how it works. It's not that we don't want to give it to you. I think that's one of the misconceptions, that we're holding out. We don't want to give you this. We're doing it on purpose. No, it's not the case. We're in the hospitality business. We're here to give you the things that you've worked hard for, the things that you've requested if we can. But sometimes we just cannot. It's just that simple. We just can't. And I think a lot of people get really bent out of shape, when they come in, or when they say, well, can I have a late checkout at 4 o'clock? Well, checkout was at 11 or 12, so you want an extra 4 hours to check out, and we're sold out. So that means the next person coming in, who's also a platinum or a diamond member that requested an early check-in, and they have that specific room type, but now they can't check in early because you requested a late checkout at 4, and then we have to keep a housekeeper over to clean that room. So think about the whole picture, guys, sometimes. And that's why I'm bringing you this video, so you can understand what we have to do in order to make things happen sometimes. So that means the housekeeper has to stay over to clean that room because we're sold out. It has to be clean because somebody needs that room. So, and then you come in and you say, well, I had an early check-in. Well, it's not available. We're sold out. I'm sorry. We'll get the rooms as early as possible. What? That's not acceptable. Blah, 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 blah. And then you turn into a Karen or Darren. It's not going to get you the room any faster. It's really not. So I just want you to understand how sometimes it's just not available. And we want to honor those guest programs as best we can because that's what we're working for. You have worked and stayed at so many hotels, and we want to make it happen for you. But sometimes it just doesn't happen, guys. It is called reality in the world. That's what it's called. All right, now, extra towels, pillows, sheets. So we always get people to say, they just checked in. Maybe 2 hours ago. Yes, can I get 5 extra towels, 5 washcloths? Can I get 3 pillows, 2 blankets? Okay, do you have a village in your room? I mean, what's going on? Think about how many towels people in laundry, they have to wash all the towels. So you think about when people check out. They have to strip the sheets, they have to get all the dirty towels, they have to do all those things, and then they have to wash those towels, as well as wash extra towels for the housekeepers who have their carts, and when they have to clean the rooms, they have to put towels in the room, so they have to wash and clean a whole lot of linen and towels. And then you come in and say, I want 5 extra towels. It's really just being greedy to me, because the reality is, I bet you 8 to 9 times out of 10, maybe 7, 8, 9 times out of 10, if you're at home, you use your towel more than one day. I guarantee you, or twice a day, and then throw it out, or maybe 2 times out the week. But people come to hotels and say, oh, I'm staying at a hotel. They got towels. They got whatever I need. Well, we try to do that, but if you have 100 rooms and 50 of those rooms want 5 extra towels or 4 extra towels or 3 sheets, then we run out of inventory, guys. We run out of things for that day. There's no one there 24 hours washing linen and washing towels and washing sheets. It just does not happen, especially during this pandemic when we're short staffed. The staffing has downsized. So you have to think about those things, people, when you go to hotels. And not try to be like, I want. Think about on the other side what we might be going through. And there are some people that get it. They'll be like, okay, I'll wait on it. And I try to kind of say, well, I can give you 2 for now. Maybe you can get 2 tomorrow if you're here for a long-term stay, or I can get you some later once they're available, or they may not be available. We are totally out of extra towels for tonight. Okay, what's wrong with using your towel the second day? We use our towels, we clean our towels with the best solutions that they are in the market. So those towels are sanitized and cleaned very thoroughly in most hotels. So I just want to, give you that too. And I'm not trying to bash guests, because I work at a hotel. I'm just trying to help you see the reality of some things when you're going to a hotel. So I hope this will help you out, guys. If you like what you see so far, I want you to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can get more concierge tips of the week. Now let's move on. So we're going to talk about canceling reservations and no-shows. So when you book a reservation, and we know that things can happen, when you're canceling a reservation, make sure before you book that reservation that you read the cancellation policy, because every hotel has one. Whether it's 24 hours before your day of arrival, whether it's 6 p.m. before the day of arrival, 6 p.m. the day of arrival, or 24 hours prior to the day of arrival, 48 hours prior to the day of arrival. Make sure you read that cancellation policy, because a lot of times people will be like, well, I'm canceling, and it's like, well, you're still going to be charged, unfortunately, a day's, room and tax, because it's past the cancellation policy. Now, in some cases where there's emergencies, something could have happened. There could have been a death in the family. Your flight could have been canceled. Things that are beyond, your control, that you just cannot help, because things happen. Then most hotels, and I do say most hotels, will go ahead and waive that cancellation fee. There are some hotels that are being really a hard ass. I'm just keeping that real, and will be like, I'm sorry, but most cases they will cancel that reservation if it's something like that, emergency, death in the family, bad weather conditions, cancel flights. And then no-shows. So no-shows, I want people to understand, if you never called to cancel your reservation, and then you get billed a no-show, and then you want to dispute that, well, it's called no-show for a reason. You didn't show. You didn't call us to say. It's just like working at a job and you don't show up for work and you didn't call and say you weren't going to be there. It's, there's repercussions. You may get a verbal warning at work. You may get wrote up at work. It's the same with hotels. If you don't show up for your reservation, then we have to charge a card, for that night. That's a penalty. That is the penalty for no-shows. So you didn't show, you didn't call us to cancel. That's what happens. It's just simple. But people will call and dispute. But, that's what it is. It's your responsibility. It was your reservation. It's your responsibility. Bottom line. All right, so reservations that you book. We'll go back to reservations. When you're booking that reservation, and I have done it myself, I am so guilty of this. We will book reservations and use a card that doesn't have anything on it, doesn't have any credit on it, because you're just reserving it, at that time. You're just reserving the reservation, and you're like, I'll pay when I get there with a different card. Well, hotels today, you guys, that would work at a lot of times back in the day, and even with some hotels still. But a lot of hotels today, they're running those credit cards, especially in a sold-out situation. They are running those credit cards, and if there is no credit on that card, they will cancel your reservation. And there is, in some policies of booking a reservation. That's why I say it's always good to check what the policies are, what the cancellation policies or booking policies are, because in a lot of cases they are protected by their policy. So they'll say, well, it says in the policy when you book that if you don't have the proper credit on there, we can cancel this reservation. And they will. There'll be instances where people come to the hotel and be like, oh, I had a reservation, but, well, we tried to run the card and unfortunately we had to cancel because there was nothing on your card. Third party reservations also, and there's some of their policies that if we cannot get credit on their card, then they will cancel your reservation as well. So just want you to be mindful of that. Make sure you do have the money on that card. Just think about at the time, by the time you arrive, you should have that money or work towards that money, because what they'll do is they'll try to run it that day. It usually not like a couple days ahead of time. It's usually either that day or that morning, of your arrival. So just want to keep you in mind with that. All right, so sold out days, oversold days. So most hotels, believe it or not, will try to oversell their hotel, meaning that they may have 90 rooms, or say they have 90 rooms, but then they have reservations coming in and they have oversold certain room types or reservations in general, which means we might be 5 oversold. And that means that if everybody comes in, there's going to be 5 people that don't have a room. The reason why, it's kind of hard for me to understand sometimes too, but the reason why a lot of hotels do that is that they fear the cancellations or the no-shows. So say, for instance, if they want to get a perfect sale of the hotel, they will oversell, saying that, okay, we're probably going to get a couple cancellations or a couple no-shows. So if we oversell, then it'll zero each other out, and then we'll have a perfect sale. In a lot of cases, that does not work when there's citywide conventions in town. That usually does not work, and hotels will do that. So I know it's something that's not good for the customer. Especially when you've been traveling all night, or you had a late or delayed flight, and then you get to the hotel and they say, oh, we don't have a room for you, we have to relocate you somewhere else. So that is not a good feeling. I totally understand that. Now, when they do have to walk you to another hotel, well, it's called walks. So when they have to relocate you to that other hotel, it's called, on our side, the terminology is called walks, which means it's like saying we're walking you to another hotel, but we're relocating you. And then the hotel will pay for your one night room and tax. And then if your reservation was for multiple nights, then they'll bring you back the second night guarantee, which means that you won't be walked again. You will have that room for you the next day. Or if you just have one night, then we'll just go ahead and, pay for that one night, and then that's it. In a lot of cases, when we look at the reservations and we look at what's going on for that day, if we are oversold, which I hope we're not, but if we are oversold, we'll look at the one-nighters usually to say, okay, this is the one that maybe we should relocate. And you can't do it too early, because what if you don't oversell technically? What if some people did cancel? So we try to wait a while, but in some cases we will contact the guests to let them know, hey, unfortunately, we had an inventory issue and the hotel was oversold, and we had to relocate you somewhere else. But we're letting you know ahead of time so you don't come to this hotel and then have to go somewhere else, and then we'll just relocate you to that hotel, give you the directions. We'll send over the paperwork to the hotel so you don't have to worry about that room and tax for that night. So that is called walks, in a walk situation, and that's when they oversell. Sold out situations. So guys, when you call a hotel and they say that they are sold out, 9.9% of the time they are sold out. People will say, well, you're not holding one room. No, we're not holding a room. We want to sell out the hotel. We want to have a perfect sale. And a lot of times, perfect sales, they have incentives for the employees who work that day. If we sell out the hotel, then you get a certain look, like a small bonus, or they give you like a little gift, or some kind of perk, a gift card or something for selling out the hotel. So guys, believe we want to sell the hotel out so we can get that incentive. So we are not holding hotel rooms. People say, oh, you don't have just one room. I had somebody say, you don't have a closet. I'm like, really? I know they probably were joking, but it's like, we're sold out, guys. Okay. All right. Outdoor pools. All right. So I know people see like on websites sometimes, and sometimes they're not updated, especially during the pandemic. You know, a lot of information was misleading from different websites because they weren't updating the websites because they didn't know how long this pandemic was going to last and that type of thing. So a lot of times people will think that the pool is open and it says outdoor pool on the website and it is fall or winter, and then they come to the hotel and say, well, it says your pool was open. Well, it's an outdoor pool. That's what it says. So if it's like fall or winter and it's cold outside and it's an outdoor pool, it's not going to be open. It's a seasonal pool. So, I mean, that means that it's going to be closed for the season. You can't get into a pool. You know, that's risky on our end to have somebody go inside to a pool and it's 50 degrees outside. So that's not good. But people will get upset about that. Like, well, it says that it's open. Well, think about in your towns, you know, the public pools. All public pools, depending on where you live, close for the season. And usually that is after Labor Day. Usually that's the rule, like after Labor Day, and then they reopen for Memorial Day. And that's not in all areas because, like say in California, it may not get cold like that. So they may have pools open all the time. But in areas where you have the four seasons and it's really cold in the fall and the winter, they're not going to have the pools open, guys, okay? It is called a outdoor pool for a reason. And if it's an indoor pool, then you don't have to worry about it because you know it's heated and everything's fine, and you know you'll have a good experience there when you get to your hotel. We're gonna talk about putting food boxes, dirty towels outside of your room. So I just want you to think of it differently. So I know you're at a hotel. I know that it's food that you ate and it's dirty food. So when you're at home, do you put your dirty boxes outside your door? Because that could cause like rats, bugs, you know, things like that. You know, you want to try to stay as sanitary, especially in this pandemic. You know, ask the front desk for a garbage bag. You know, ask for an extra garbage bag for one of those big ones. So that way, you know, when I go to hotels, I put everything in a big garbage bag and I leave it inside the room closed up. So that way, they can just take it away. They don't have to get all the trash up. But when you leave it outside your door, then that means that somebody in the daytime has to come and try to remove it, you know, from your door, the dirty linens, you know. Now, if you're not having your room clean that day, I kind of get it, putting your towels out there, but don't just lay them on the floor. Put it in like a laundry bag that they provide for your room. Ask for an extra bag. That way you can put them, or just simply ask if they can come and get the dirty towels and give you new ones. I mean, just don't leave them outside the door because sometimes that's very unsanitary, and then that can lead to other issues, especially like food boxes. And then they start to smell and other guests are complaining about it, those type of things. So just want to give you that tidbit. And the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with are pets. Just wanted to let you know why there is a pet fee. So when you have a pet, you know, you bring your pet to the hotel, there is usually a fee that's non-refundable. And it's a fee for your stay instead of like per day. It's just for your stay for your pet. Well, that fee is for cleaning afterwards. So because when you do have a pet, not saying that your pet may have any fleas or anything, but it's just a sanitary thing that, you know, dog's fur, cat's fur, people might be allergic to it, you know, different things like that. So when the next guest checks in, we don't want to have those things there. So after you check out, in most hotels, they will have a crew come in or a company come in, or they have the machines themselves to shampoo the carpet, to, you know, get all the hair out, you know, make sure it dries thoroughly, and exterminate the room. So they have a exterminator come out and exterminate the room. And that's what your fee is used for. So it's not just something that they want to collect extra. It's not extra revenue. It goes for a specific purpose to make sure that that room is sanitized and clean for the next person coming in. So just wanted to give you some things that are valuable when you're going to go to a hotel to check in and book reservations, things to look out for, things to keep in mind. So when you get there, you can have an awesome experience, you know, and not worry so much about the little stuff. You know what I mean? This is EJ Brad EJ, Brad, and Kai. I want to thank you for watching Concierge Tip of the Week. I hope that these are helpful for you. And please, please comment down in the description box below. Tell me what you think about this video. Give me your thoughts and ideas of what you think about hotels. And I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good day.
Wait, hold on 1 minute. You're not done yet. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter.